Welcome back, everybody, to the Guiding Light 911 online podcast.
It's great to be here.
I am excited for today's deep dive because we're going to be taking a closer look at the organization behind this very podcast.
A Guiding Light 911 online.
Yes, I've been poring over their marketing materials, specifically excerpts from their AA workbook.
And of course, we've got all the information from their website and social media presence, too.
So what I really want to understand is what makes a Guiding Light stand out in the world of addiction recovery resources?
Well, right off the bat, their commitment to connecting with people on multiple platforms is impressive.
Okay, so walk me through this. Like, imagine I'm someone who's, struggling, and I turn to the internet for help.
Right. So you could be scrolling through Facebook or Instagram, and boom, there's a guiding light with an encouraging message or helpful tip.
Makes sense, and then maybe I want more.
Exactly. You head over to their YouTube channel and find a whole library of videos.
Videos, huh? What kind?
Oh, all sorts. They have everything from personal stories of recovery to expert discussions on AA principles.
So they are really trying to cater to different learning styles.
Absolutely. And if you're more of a reader, they've got you covered too.
Their workbook.
Yes, but it doesn't stop there.
Oh.
They also offer direct support through email and phone.
Wait, hold on. Multiple emails.
Yeah, they have help at agl911.com, info at agl911.com, sales at agl911.com, support at agl911.com. Makes it really easy to get in touch with the right department.
Okay, I see the logic there.
And for those who prefer that personal touch, they have a dedicated phone line too, 559-563-6861.
So no matter how you prefer to connect, they've got an avenue for you.
It's all about meeting people where they are, which is such a crucial part of recovery.
And speaking of connecting, have you seen their book club?
I have, and I think it's a brilliant example of how they prioritize community.
Community.
One of the core principles of AA is fellowship, the idea that you're not alone in this journey.
Right, strength in numbers and all that.
Exactly. So A Guiding Light has created this online book club where people can come together, discuss the workbook, share their experiences, offer support.
Sounds like a powerful way to reinforce those AA principles.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the online world either.
They have in-person meetings too.
Well, they encourage people to attend their local AA meetings,
No.
but they've also made sure their workbook is accessible in a variety of formats.
Oh, yeah. Paperback and coil bound.
Right. So whether you prefer to curl up on the couch with a traditional book or you want something you can easily take notes in during meetings, they've got you covered.
I have to admit, I love the coil bound idea. It's so practical, especially if you're doing the exercises in the workbook.
They've really thought of everything, haven't they?
They have. And if you're listening to this and feeling intrigued, I encourage you to visit their website, agl911.com. You can find out more about their resources, their book club, their mission. It's all there.
It's definitely worth checking out.
Absolutely. Now let's dive a bit deeper into this idea of community and why it's so important in recovery.
Yeah, it's such a crucial element, and I think A Guiding Light really understands that.
Absolutely. Going back to their marketing materials for a second, it's interesting how they don't come right out and say, like, we're going to cure your addiction.
Right. It's not about promising a quick fix.
It's more about providing tools and support and empowering individuals to take ownership of their recovery.
Exactly. It's that whole idea of meeting people where they are not trying to force a one-size-fits-all solution.
And that makes me think about the choice to offer the workbook in both paperback and coil-bound versions.
How so?
Well, it's like they're saying, we're not going to tell you how to engage with this material. We're going to give you options and let you decide what works best for you.
That's a really good point. And that sense of agency is so important in recovery, moving away from that feeling of powerlessness.
So a guiding light is all about providing a framework, a set of tools, and a supportive community. But ultimately, it's up to the individual to take those elements and build their own path to recovery.
Precisely. They're a guiding light, as their name suggests, not a magic bullet.
We've talked a lot about them, but I'm curious, what about you? What role does community play in your own life?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. For me, community is like a wellspring of support. A place where I can share my vulnerabilities, celebrate my triumphs, learn from the experiences of others.
That's beautiful. It really highlights how important connection is in all aspects of life.
It really does, and it ties back to what we've been discussing. A guiding light has tapped into that fundamental human need.
I mean, it's easy to get caught up in the digital aspect of their approach, but what really stands out is the human element behind all the platforms and resources.
Right, those personal stories and their marketing materials,
Yeah.
the testimonials on their website, they really drive that home.
There's a real sense of compassion and empathy there. They're not just providing information. They're building relationships.
Absolutely. And that's so important when it comes to something as sensitive and personal as addiction recovery.
I can't help but think about someone who might be listening right now, feeling lost and alone.
Right. What would we say to them?
Well, first of all, I'd say you're not alone. There are people who care, who understand, and want to help.
And a guiding light is a great resource. They can offer a hand up, a sense of direction, a community of support.
Exactly. So if you're feeling inspired, head over to agl911.com. You can explore their website, connect with their community.
Don't hesitate to reach out.
All right.
Recovery is a journey, not a destination. And with the right support, every step you take can be a step towards a brighter future.
Now, before we move on from this idea of their multi-platform approach,
Hmm.
I'm wondering, are there any potential downsides?
That's an interesting question. And it's something that any organization striving for accessibility has to consider.
Like what specifically?
Well, on the one hand, having a presence on multiple platforms allows you to reach a wider audience, connect with people in the ways they're most comfortable.
Right. We were talking about that earlier. Some people prefer Instagram. Some people prefer email. It's about providing options.
Exactly. But managing all those platforms effectively requires resources, manpower, a consistent message across all channels.
So there's a risk of spreading yourself too thin.
Potentially, yeah. You don't want to dilute your message or neglect certain platforms and leave people feeling unheard.
It's a delicate balancing act.
It really is. And I think it's important to acknowledge that even with the best intentions, there will always be limitations.
So a guiding light, despite its impressive multi-platform approach, isn't a perfect solution.
No organization is perfect. But what matters is their commitment to continuous improvement, to listening to feedback, to adapting their approach to better serve their community.
That's a really important point, I think. It's not about having all the answers. It's about being willing to learn and grow.
Absolutely. And that's something a guiding light clearly demonstrates. They're not afraid to try new things, to experiment, to refine their methods based on what they learn.
So even though they might not be perfect, they're constantly striving to do better, to be better.
Exactly. And that's what makes them so inspiring.
It really is inspiring to see an organization so dedicated to meeting people where they are.
Yeah.
We've talked about accessibility in terms of platforms and formats, but it goes deeper than that, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. True accessibility. It's about meeting people at their level of understanding, acknowledging their individual challenges, offering support in a way that truly resonates.
So it's not just about giving people information. It's about creating an environment where they feel comfortable,
Yeah.
Actually seeking that information and applying it to their own lives.
Exactly. Empowerment is key. A guiding light. They don't force a particular method or timeline on anyone.
Right.
They offer this variety of resources and allow each person to kind of choose their own path.
It's like with those different email addresses we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Imagine feeling lost and overwhelmed and just needing someone to listen. You could reach out to help at agl911.com and know that your message is going to the right place.
Exactly. Or maybe you're curious about the book club. You email info@agl911.com and get all the details. It's about removing those barriers, making it as easy as possible for people to connect.
We're here for you no matter where you are in your journey. That's the message they're sending.
Such a powerful message of hope and inclusivity. Reminds me of the core principles of AA. Acceptance, support, the belief that anyone can recover.
We've talked a lot about the practical side of things, but we can't forget about the emotional component of recovery.
Oh, absolutely. Recovery, it's challenging, it's personal, and it can be incredibly isolating.
And that's where that sense of community that a guiding light fosters becomes so important.
It is. It's about knowing you're not alone, There are others out there who understand what you're going through.
It's about belonging, being part of something bigger than yourself.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that makes their approach so effective. They're addressing the practical aspects of recovery, but they're also nurturing the emotional well-being of the individuals they serve.
It's like they're providing a safety net, a soft place to land where people can be vulnerable, share their struggles, and celebrate their victories.
I love that. It speaks to the importance of creating a safe and supportive space for recovery.
Well, there you have it, folks. Our deep dive into a Guiding Light 911 online.
We've covered a lot. Their multi-platform approach, the emphasis on community, their commitment to accessibility.
All while staying true to the core principles of AA.
What's so fascinating is how they've managed to weave all of those elements together to create a truly holistic support system. It's not just about information, it's about connection empowerment, creating a sense of hope for those on their recovery journeys.
If you're feeling inspired, be sure to visit their website, agl911.com. Explore their resources, connect with their community.
Yeah, don't hesitate to reach out. Recovery is a journey, and every step you take is a victory. A guiding light is there to help illuminate the path.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into A Guiding Light 911 Online. We'll see you next time for another insightful exploration.